Alright, ladies and gents, today we're going to go over an oil change. Filter, new oil. We're going to replace the coolant tank, and since I have to drain that, I'm going to go ahead and replace the coolant in the engine. Now, I don't have the bike running just yet, so I won't be able to do a 100% coolant flush on the system. So let's get on it and get started with it. First, we're going to remove our oil fill cap. Give it a little bit of breathing room here so it drains a little bit better. The oil drain plug is on the bottom. That is a 17 millimeter. Whenever you do this, make sure you get a new crush washer. That way you don't have an oil leak when you refill the oil and top it off. Now it'll take just a few minutes for this to drain down. Now normally I will put Motul or a form of synthetic oil in all of my equipment and motorcycles, but for right now I'm unsure of what kind of maintenance has been done on this bike since it is a rebuild wreck. So I have ordered the standard Kawasaki 10W40 engine oil, and that's what we're going to use. Okay, so once your oil has subsided to a steady or slow drip, go ahead and remove your oil filter. Sometimes you can get them off by hand, and other times you'll need a strap wrench or an oil filter wrench. And this one is more than hand tight, so let me see if I can get it off with the strap. And basically you just double this thing over. This is an old school strap wrench. I use it for all kind of craziness. So I'm going to have to put my plug back in. So let me go ahead and toss the old crush washer. Pull the new one off. And the new crush washer is pretty daggum important. Because that will prevent you from leaking oil going down the road. What that thing does is when you compress it down, it forms to the gap between the drain plug and the actual casing on the engine. Now I'm going to spin this out of the way just a little. There we go. You just need that to break it loose. And once that has come free, you can finish it off by hand. There we go. You can finish letting that drain, and then I'm going to pull my plug back out to let that last little bit of residual oil drain off. Now there is a kit that you can get off of Amazon that I found where they actually have your oil, the filter, and the crush washers by the make, your model of your bike. Pretty slick deal, really affordable. I got 3 quarts of oil, a filter, and a new crush washer for $35. So that's a really good deal for an oil change on a motorcycle. Now, you know, it's not pure synthetic or whatever, but it is the Kawasaki manufacturer recommended oil. So I thought that was a rather good deal. All right, now once the majority of this is drained off, we're going to put our plug back on and tighten it down. You don't want to over tighten. Okay, now it's just about quit dripping from my old filter. so we're going to pull out the new one. And we're going to inspect the threads, make sure everything looks good. Now, what I like to do is put just a little bit of old oil on my finger and slick up this new gasket just a little bit. That helps that thing glide around and seems to seal up a little better. Let me wipe the lip of that a little bit. You want to make sure that it's free of any dirt or buildup. That way you get a good seal all the way around your new filter. And it does not take a whole lot. Now normally I would cover my exhaust over when I change my oil, but because I'm getting ready to pull this exhaust off in a day or two, not really worried about it. And now we're going to begin filling our oil. This is 3 quarts. Like I said, it was a pre-packaged deal from Amazon. I'll put a link down below for you. And just keep an eye on your sight glass. And you'll see the oil drain down here. It's going to take several quarts, of course. It's starting to drain down a lot slower now, so we are getting pretty close. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Alright, a successful oil change. Now, let's go over here and work on getting the coolant changed and getting rid of this cracked tank. This is your coolant reservoir. This is what we're replacing. You've got your overfill hose from the radiator cap. When pressure builds, the little spring-loaded valve in there compresses, which allows all the pressure to flow around and go into this tank so your heating system doesn't develop too much pressure and burst. Water comes through the water pump, through the engine, back through the radiator. It's a never-ending cycle. Goes through the engine, the water or the coolant heats up, comes through the radiator, cools down, rinse and repeat. This one little screw right here, that is your drain. So we want to take that one loose and let the system drain. First, we need to take out the 2 bolts here on the coolant tank, and there's actually a little notch right here in the radiator support and a hook on the front of the reservoir. So we're going to unbolt that and hook it right there. Now there is a hose on the top of the radiator for overflow. We need to pop that off. And this one's been on here for a long while, so it needs just a little bit of assistance there. There is not much at all to your coolant system on these motorcycles. They're very simplistic in design. This thing's been sitting here just drip, drip, dripping forever, and I'm ready to fix it. Okay, so we're going to open the cap to the reservoir. We're going to open the radiator fill cap here. And now we are going to crack this one, and then I'll slide my little water jug in place so we catch it all. And she comes out quick. Now, with all chemicals in engines and anything else, especially antifreeze, make sure you dispose of this stuff properly. It is very poisonous to animals, children, humans in general. So whatever container you put it in, take it somewhere and have it disposed of. Do not leave this stuff laying around, because animals will smell it, and to them it's just a really sweet substance, and they'll drink, and then shuts their kidneys down. It'll kill them, and it's a very agonizing death. So please keep that in mind and dispose of all your stuff properly. So I could have actually just taken the coolant tank off and dumped it and then replaced. But I did not want to do that. Be careful about over tightening this stuff, because you strip that one, that means you're replacing a water pump. And you know how Kawasaki loves to price all their equipment. Okay. There we go. The old tank is now off. Kawasaki genuine parts, baby. And after you do this, if you notice any leaking, so I can see where the old tank had been running and leaking down. So I'm going to keep an eye on this thing for a while after I'm able to start the bike, because I honestly don't know when the heck I'm going to get my fairings. Just starting to annoy me badly. I'm going to leave this thing hooked. Now we're going to go get our coolant and start refilling. Alright, the stuff I'm using is Xerix Asian Formula. And this is for aluminum block engines. It is okay to use in your motorcycles. It's actually a pretty decent stuff, and you can get it anywhere. That's the thing I like about this. It's not a proprietary, have to go to a motorcycle store kind of coolant. So if you have heating problems or a leak, have to do a patch on the side of the road, you can pick this stuff up anywhere and get back and going. It's compatible with what's in the bike from the factory. I did plenty of research to see. And as with everything else, please make sure to wipe and clean all of your caps. Keep any foreign objects out of your system. Okay. And for temporary, I'm going to put the cap back on so I don't accidentally spill any more than I already have. And again, please be sure to properly dispose of this stuff. It's very hazardous. You don't want to wake up in the middle of the night with your dog laying in the floor with a death yowl because he got into your leftover container of antifreeze. It would be horrible. And you don't want to over tighten this, because they're just plastic tabs. Just firm them up. Alright, now we're going to put our overfill hose back on this bad boy. Make sure we're pushed all the way down. We're going to crack the reservoir. And we're going to fill this one up. Okie dokie. Put the cap on it. Wipe everything down. That way you can spot any errant leaks. That way you'll know if you need to replace anything off the water pump. And I know some people are going to say, oh my God, you use something other than the Kawasaki brand or whatever. I guarantee you, this stuff right here is just fine. It's pre-mixed. You just buy it and pour it in. Like I said, for on-the-road convenience, when you need to do some emergency maintenance, you can't beat having the access right there. And they do make a blue. If you don't like the red, you can buy the blue. But I mostly see the red. But alrighty, guys and gals, that's pretty much it. Oil change, and we changed out the coolant tank and drained the old, put the new in. I'll probably, once I can run the bike, let this thing blend through and flush. I'll probably dump the system one more time and top it back off. That way I get anything that was stuck in there and I'm not mixing two different coolants. Because yes, I do know that you should flush the coolant system before adding new. The bike's just not quite ready to run yet, but we're getting very close. So for all you new people, please hit the like and subscribe button. And you want to keep up with what's coming up. We're going to have a special giveaway here in the next episode or two. Little something special going on this bike, and I'll be able to share it with all my viewers and everyone else out there that owns a motorcycle. It does not have to be a Kawasaki Z or a Ninja. It'll go on any bike out there. So hit that like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.